Hi, everybody. I'm Mr. Walker, principal here at Calkins Road.
Mr. Felsley, the assistant principal.
We are excited to welcome you to the 2020-21 school year. Our year is going to look a little different this year, but we wanted to make sure that we connected with our incoming sixth grade parents for a brief video orientation. We're excited to have you and your family a part of our family. We're going to have other resources on our website for you to check out, as well as a back to school section on our page. So be sure to look there for some more information aside from what you hear in our little video today. Um, I have to share, this is going into my 8th year here at Calkins Road, and this is quite an amazing place. And every year we get excited for the kids to come back, and this year is no different. So please know that we are excited to see your children. We're excited to see you and have a wonderful year this year. Mike?
Like Mr. Walker was saying, families are just so critical to what we do here and seeing the kids. And I like to think of ourselves as almost like for at least a little bit an extended family. And speaking of that, I just wanted to give a shout out to our PTSA. Um, I challenge anyone to find a PTSA who does as much for the school system as what ours does here in Pittsford. Tracy Castleberry and Danielle Kress are our co-chairs, and just a tremendous amount of support they give us. For example, first thing at the start of the year, you're going to be getting agendas. Those are all purchased by our PTSA. In the past, they've really supported our field trips, our cultural arts, and brought a lot of enrichment programming. So they're a great source of information. They're great advocates for the kids, and I'd encourage you to go to our website. There's links that will give you all the information you need about when they're meeting, how to sign up, how to get involved. And I just really want to emphasize the great job they do for us and thank them.
Absolutely. Now, normally during this time, we're all sitting in the auditorium here at Calkins Road while the students are engaged in our web orientation program. Web stands for Where Everyone Belongs, and it's a long 4-hour long program, usually in August, that then goes through the year. The students make relationships and connections that fosters their transition into our building. It's important that we still have an orientation. So our students are engaging in a slightly abridged version of it today, where they're going to get together with some 8th grade student leaders, have a little Q&A, find out what school is like. They're also going to have a brief technology orientation, which will be really helpful as we begin the year in our hybrid form.
One of the things too that will help you stay up to date, and if you're coming to us from one of our elementary schools, you're already aware of Parent Portal. And the nice thing is your Parent Portal password will work here at the middle school. But if you're new to Pittsford or for whatever reason don't have a password that's working, we're going to be reaching out to you within the first week or so of school. We're going to try to figure out who still needs a password. And your security and privacy are very important to us. So one of the things we're going to do is verify your identity over the phone. We might ask you some questions that only a guardian would know about their kids. And once we're sure that your identity has been verified, we will give you a password and talk to you about logging into Parent Portal. And Parent Portal, again, is a link where you can check your child's grades, their schedule, you can look at their attendance, and other information related to your student.
I gotta say, as a parent in another district where I have access to Parent Portal, it's great. It's great. I feel like I'm really involved and one step ahead sometimes of what my son is doing. And as a parent, also, open house is really important. And while we won't be holding our in-person open house, you'll see on the school calendar, it's still scheduled for September 10th. Our open house will be virtual, so our parents will still have the opportunities to see and meet the teachers, hear a little bit about the course and the curriculum, and really know who it is that's working with your child. So we will be creating a page for open house and posting that on September 10th. So check that out.
Another thing we'd be talking to you about today or at open house is the Midnight Way. You can see our little knights here on our masks. This is a great fashion statement that we have on here today. But the Midnight Way is really at the heart of our social emotional learning. And the Midnight Way, there's 4 pillars. We talk about creativity, resiliency, spiritedness, and mindfulness. And boy, I'll tell you, especially during these recent months, those have been key things we've all had to put into practice, whether it's creative ways in which we've been trying to reach out to kids and teach kids, of course, resiliency, being mindful to take care of ourselves, but also, being spirited in how we encourage each other and encourage our kids. So those are things we try to talk about with the kids, and one of the ways we're gonna embed that is through community circles, and especially with our hybrid model where kids are going to have an opportunity, especially when the whole class is online on Wednesdays. That's a great time where we can do what's called a virtual community circle, where every kid gets a chance to answer a very simple question. It could be just something along the lines of what has worked this week well for you? What has been a challenge this week for you? Um, Questions like that, where the kids just have an opportunity to voice how they're feeling and give us information about how they're doing emotionally, how they're doing with the learning. And some of the times it's just get to know you type questions. What was your favorite thing you did this summer? What's your favorite activity? It's a great way for the teachers and the kids to connect with one another. And we really think that that's showing the Midnight Way.
That connection that Mr. Felser talked about is really such a critical piece of middle school. I mean, all schools, but especially in middle school, that connection to teachers, to peers. And that's something that, even though our situation is different this year for all of our students, regardless of their learning model, it's important to continue to really nurture that and create those opportunities for those connections, both within the curricula and outside of it. Last year during our open house, we changed the format a little bit and had some mini information sessions where we had some experts in the district come in and talk about different things, such as navigating social media with your middle schooler, mindset, having a growth versus a fixed mindset, navigating the middle school social landscape, by one of our counselors. Important information that we created based on feedback from our parents. So we didn't want to not have that opportunity. So information about those from those sessions last year, great informative resources, will be on the website with this video as part of our orientation.
Speaking of the website, um, I've got a 6th grader this year, new to the road going in. And, we always worry about that social landscape of middle school and what that's going to be like. And we're here to support you and your student. And when I say you and your student, I mean you. Don't hesitate to reach out to myself, Mr. Walker, any of the counselors. If you're concerned about interactions that your child might be having at school, we're happy to problem solve with you, talk through that. It's never a waste of time or a bother. These are really important issues. You have a lot of different ways you can communicate that to us if there's a concern. Um, One of the things I want to point out is our Dignity for All Students Act reporting link that's on our website. It's on the district website. And if you're concerned about any student, it doesn't even have to be your own student, that they're being harassed or bullied, or any concern, you can fill out one of those forms. And we are going to investigate that thoroughly. We're going to look into it, and we're going to put measures in place to make sure that that child is safe. Like in all of our schools here at Pittsford, we take any kind of harassment, whether it's harassment based on race, religion, ethnicity, gender, anything, we don't tolerate it, and we'll be looking to intervene in those situations and make sure that everybody's informed, parents of both, everyone involved. And just speaking of that kind of thing too, it reminds me of safety. Just especially during COVID, I'll speak specifically to some of the things we're doing to keep your kids physically safe in this virus pandemic. Cleaning of the rooms will be done thoroughly every day. There's a list of protocols that actually I believe are linked on the Pittsford website that will talk about the various disinfectants we're using to make sure that all the surfaces and things in the classrooms are clean. But throughout the day, you'll see people walking around, our cleaners spraying common spots where kids' hands might be, railings, for example, the cafeteria tables, areas that doorknobs that are commonly touched will be disinfected periodically throughout the day. Another thing we want to talk about is our arrival times. We want to really encourage, or encourage is the wrong word. We want to make it as easy as possible for the kids to maintain their social distancing. And to do that, we'll be letting kids into the building at 7 o'clock. When they arrive, if it's at 7, rather than in the past, they used to kind of congregate in our front hallway there, but that's not safe for them to do right now. So we'll be asking them to go down to the commons where they will be able to sit one to a table. And then at 7:15, the teachers will have arrived and they'll be asked to go directly to their first period class. So there's not going to be lockers this year, as I'm sure some of you have heard, but we're asking kids to basically, if they get here at 7:15 or after, to go directly to their first period class and to have all the materials they're going to need in their book bag for the day. And like I say, in order to try to accommodate, we have a lot of parents dropping kids off this year. If you need to drop your child off before 7:15, we will have an area in the cafeteria for kids to wait socially distanced at 7 o'clock. Another thing to think about too is that's going to be very different this year is our kids are going to be in pods or cohorts for their core classes. So the same group of kids, 12, 13 kids will have math, social studies, science together, their core classes, and will to try to limit the travel. And teachers will actually come to those rooms and instruct them. And for some of the other classes, the specials, world languages, they will go out into the halls and travel to individual classrooms. So that's just a very small sampling of some of the things we're trying to do to mitigate the risk of the coronavirus.
And it's important to know that while we say this year is different, and unique, we'll even use that word, it's going to be also a time of constant adjustment. We're doing our absolute best to get everything ready, and there might be a point in the beginning of the year we say, okay, we're going to change how we're doing some things. I'll tell you, over the summer, as I've been speaking with parents, every single person that I've talked to has been understanding and asking great questions and really, really wanting to be a partner. And that's just so appreciated. And that's just reflective of who we are here in Pittsford. What is not different about this year, what is not unique, is our care for each other and that dedication towards our students, to our families, and to helping our students be successful both in and out of the classroom. And that does not change, and that has never faded, and it won't. So I look forward to a great year with your students and a great 3 years with your students, and we will get through this together, and we will have a great year. So thank you very much, Midnight Parents.